Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy Does It, a podcast created specifically for the amazing members of the MJ team. Rob and I are back with you again, excited for 2025.
We're back. We're back on episode 1, but it's really episode 27.
Yes, I know. It would be, I asked Corey this, do we just keep going or do we restart? We're going to keep going.
We'll keep on going.
Yeah, because we want to know when we reach like episode 100.
1,000.
Oh, excuse me, 1,000.
Yeah.
Well, happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
We've got some good things coming for the Easy Does It podcast. We're not going to reveal all of our secrets just yet, but we're really excited about where we're going and hopefully going to keep getting some traction here with our MJ team members, get some more people on board and listening, working on themselves, making 2025 the best year yet.
Yeah. We've got some cool people. I don't even think our new person that we're having come up next even knows it yet.
No.
Good.
It's going to be a surprise.
It will be a surprise.
For everyone.
For you guys and for them.
Right. And maybe even for us.
We're just going to put the microphone under their lips and be like, hope you have 2 hours reserved to the side because here we go.
Time.
Here
we are excited to be with you today to talk about starting off the new year. Last year at this time, we did a podcast on resolutions. Go back and check it out if you haven't. And today, we're going to talk about the kind of person you're becoming. So we're going to hit on that resolution thing a little bit, some goal stuff a little bit, but really thinking about what is the kind of person that you are becoming. So hopefully you'll stay tuned so you can get a few ideas for how to get ready for 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but before we do that,
would you rather?
Yes.
Would you rather be royalty 1,000 years ago or an average person today?
I think I'd rather be an average person today.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Well, royalty 1,000 years ago, I don't think was quite all it's cracked up to be.
No?
I mean,
You're royalty.
if Bridgerton has taught me anything.
The heck is Bridgerton?
Please, you don't Bridgerton?
What were you about to say?
Netflix. Which that was not set 1,000 years ago, I'm pretty sure.
I've never even heard of that. Bridgerton? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh, y'all. So anyway, I didn't watch The Crown, which is another British royalty type of.
Never heard of that one either.
So it seems like a lot of like wearing ill-fitting clothes, some corset business. Listen, let's just be frank. Okay, it's been a couple weeks over the holiday break. I haven't put a pair of pants on with a button in weeks, including today. So I'm not sure that I could do this corset deal all the time.
I feel like that's just the price you have to pay to be royalty. 1,000 years ago?
Yeah.
I
I would
mean-
enjoy the balls, the dancing. We
Yeah.
know how I feel about that.
We know you like to dance.
So I could get down with that, but the rest of it seems like a lot of tea drinking, a lot of socializing. Come on, y'all know that's not my thing.
I mean, like back then, they couldn't really sanitize water. At least I don't know if they didn't know how to or what. So they drank ale all the time because that sterilized the water. So they drank that all the time.
Uh-huh.
You combine that with some good harp music that you can twerk to.
I don't know.
You see where I'm going?
Because in Bridgerton, I still can't believe you've never heard of that.
What, they twerk in Bridgerton too?
Well, they don't twerk, but it is a fantastic blend of instrumental music to modern day songs. So, like, there might be some, like, Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift. They've taken a song like that, and they've set it to classical music.
That's
like,
interesting.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it.
You need to put one of those songs in the show notes.
Yes, I will.
And I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep. Okay, what about you?
Did you pick today?
Yeah, average person today.
I feel like I probably would pick today because, I mean, all the stuff back then was cool. And I'm not going to lie, it'd be nice to be royalty where people bring you stuff and all that. But like you get sick back then, you got a little sniffle and you're almost done.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that I would want to deal with all the hardship of that. Although I may not want to be royalty, but it'd be pretty cool to be a knight. like
Oh,
to like have the full armor and like learn how to fight with a sword. Like
Yeah.
that's always interesting. It's interesting to those that don't have to do it.
right.
And then when you have to do it, and it's like you get cut one time and you're done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would miss all the modern day, like air conditioning, running
it's
water.
kinda nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. Me and Susie went to a medieval castle. We've seen a few, and it's like in March, and it's cold. And I know they had fires in the castle itself, but it is freaking freezing. Mm-hmm. Like they have open windows, and they have like some glassed in windows like later on, but the wind whips through there, and unless you have a fire in your room and you're sitting next to it, the whole place is freezing.
Yes.
And then you come to the bathroom, the latrine, and it's on the upper floor, but they build like I don't know, like benches, and then they put wood on top and cut a hole, so you just plop right up there and let
it
her
like
loose
travels
down the side.
down a chute, right?
So
That is fascinating to me.
I've seen the ones that are on the water that you poop into the water
Yeah.
that the castle's on, and then the other ones it's just on the side of the castle itself, so it just drops down to the ground, and eventually there has to be someone that has to scaffold themselves up there and clean the side of the castle and the bottom, and get it out of there.
Yeah,
But
see, no.
I was like, man, that's just unfortunate.
Okay, so these are just even more reasons for me to choose
Yeah.
average person today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least royalty had that, I guess. If not, it might have been better to be a peasant. You can just walk out your back door and
That's
you don't
right.
have to go down the side of the castle
Do
that
all
you're
that.
in.
Yeah. All right, well, that was a good one.
Average person today.
Average person today.
Got it.
Yep. Well, maybe keep in mind some of the. Why can't we bring the ball dancing back?
You could do that. What do we call it? Groovy gains?
Yeah.
Groovy gains.
I know.
We could do that.
We can do that.
We can have some, what'd you say, Ariana Grande
Yeah.
harp version.
Yeah,
You can bring that back.
Classical. I'm gonna put it in the show notes.
Please do. Make it good.
Mm-hmm.
You might convince me.
It's gonna be great. You are gonna like it. You might use it for some sort of cool down or meditation situation.
Don't tell me what I want. Well, don't tell me what I would like.
Okay, so today, kind of in place of Dues News, it's not really in place of Dues News because we're going to use Jim Rohn, which you've heard us talk about on the podcast quite a bit. So really, the reason I know anything about Jim Rohn is because of Mr. Jenkins. So I don't really think it's not Dues News. I think it's probably inspired by the fact that Dewey was so inspired by Jim Rohn. I remember, and I've probably said this before, when we were getting the library together, Dewey said, I just would like for there to be some Dale Carnegie and some Jim Rohn in the library. So right there tells you how he feels about Jim Rohn. So today we're really looking at one of the quotes from Jim Rohn that kind of lends itself to this time of year. If you go back and listen to our resolution episode, I don't remember everything we said, but we kind of talked about how the new year is always this natural time of year where people start to kind of reassess and reflect on how things are going in their life. What could they change? What could they do differently? And people oftentimes set New Year's resolutions. I feel like maybe we went back and forth about resolutions, goals.
I think we both said, should we set resolutions or should you not?
Yeah, because I pulled out my notes from that episode, and only 8% of people are successful in reaching their resolutions. So 64% abandon them within a month. Mark posted something the other day.
Yeah, I was just about to. I can't remember what day they said. Was it maybe
January 10th?
The 10th is Quitter's Day.
Yeah.
People don't make it past January 10th.
Yeah. So I don't think we're naysaying resolution setting or goal setting for that matter. We'll talk a little bit about that too. I think it's the realization that just setting the resolution ain't going to get it. It's going to have to be it's going to have to be a little bit more than that. And so Jim Rohn also offers a couple of other things for that as well. So here's the quote. What kind of person will you have to become to get all you want? So if you remember, the title of this episode is The Kind of Person You're Becoming. So what kind of person are you becoming, and what kind of person will you have to become to get all that you want? So in thinking of that, Rob, how do you interpret that quote, and what does it spark in you or call you to action to do?
Yeah. For this one, for me, it really makes me go back. I know some of the texts, one of them particularly, I would do one of the meetings, and then he would say, it's not about the destination, Rob, it's about the journey. He would say it all the time. And it started making me think, like, do I say that all the time? Because he kept giving me a look, and then maybe I do. It doesn't matter. But it makes me think about that. We set goals ahead of ourselves to accomplish things that are important to us, or to, gain something in our lives that we don't have right now. And once we have them, sometimes we just get in that cycle of, okay, what's next? And we don't live in the moment. And so I think about it is the journey, the process of the person that you become in order to achieve that goal. So I think it begs us all to really focus in on what kind of goals are we setting for ourselves? Are they just arbitrary goals that don't really mean anything to us? Or is it going to create the type of person that we would be proud of? I really, at one point in time, I was trying to figure out how can I be a better storyteller. I go to the meetings a lot, and I'll kind of tell a compelling story or give some insight, and it links into what we're talking about that day. And I came across, lots of authors and directors, and I came across something called the hero's journey. Have you heard of that? Mm-hmm. And it almost ruined all movies for me, because the hero's journey is the same in every movie or book, and hopefully it doesn't ruin it for y'all out there too. But you really start to see the same pattern, and the individual sets off on their journey, they meet a mentor, and they're going from the normal world, what's familiar to them, into the unknown, or the magical world or whatever. And that's where they come across trials. They have to acquire something in order to be the big bad boss, or, conquer whatever they need to. And then there's this developmental moment. Like, there's this shift that has to happen in that individual for them to be able to conquer whatever goal they have. And then once they do that, they go back from the unknown world and they return back to the known world changed. And so I think about that, and for all of us, when we're setting out on these goals and these journeys, I think it's great that we set a goal of, like, this is the person, this is the thing that I want. But I think if we set ourselves out to say, this is the person that I want to become in the future, I think that changes our goals. It shifts things, because it's not, I just need to have $10,000 in the bank. Well, I think that is a great goal. I mean, financial independence, and you're taking those steps, but you have to change things about yourself, your habits, your behaviors, in order to achieve that $10,000. So it's not the 10,000. It's, I need to acquire behaviors or practices that will help me get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the difference in, like, I want to lose 10 pounds and I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I think that I want to lose 10 pounds is a little bit more, it's easier to grab onto. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do, I want to lose 10 pounds. But I think that, to me, that's the difference in those two things. I want to lose 10 pounds is more of a goal or a milestone, whereas I want to live a healthier lifestyle is more of like, this is the person I want to become. I don't want to become the person who loses 10, gains 10, loses 5, gains 20. That defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So while I can make the choices in the short term to lose 10 pounds, what's the likelihood that I'm going to continue to be able to make those choices for a long time? Because if I want to live a healthier lifestyle, it's not about making the right choices until I hit 10 pounds down. It's about making the right choices to be this person forever and ever. Amen. So I think it's a little bit more short-term, long-term type of, and I do think that short-term goals are good. I think that it's important for us to sometimes set short-term goals to make them feel manageable and achievable. So, for me, it's like one of the things I've gotten away from is a consistent workout routine. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and do 30 minutes 3 times a week. I'm going to try and walk more often than that. But to me, that's kind of like a short term. I don't know. Short term's not even really quite the right word. It's like a tool to help me reach this bigger purpose of this healthier lifestyle that I want to lead.
Yeah.
I wrote down, so if I go back to the quote, what kind of person will you have to become to get all that you want? When I read that, the first thing I thought of was, well, I need to write down everything I want. What is everything? What's all that I want in the whole world? What's all that I want? So that's the first thing I did, was I just started writing it down. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. I don't know if what I wrote is right or wrong. But the first thing I wrote was a safe, healthy, and happy family. And so when I look at that word health, in terms of what we were just talking about, the first question I ask myself is, how am I taking care of myself? And then what habits am I modeling for my kids? So to me, that's the bigger picture, is how am I taking care of myself so I can be here for a long time? And then what habits am I modeling for my kids? To me, that's different than I want my genes to fit better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's more meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's thinking of, one of the things I think we talked about in the last episode when we talked about resolutions is really considering your future me. Not thinking about just now, but what do I want for future me instead of just the person right here in the moment.
Yeah. You're talking about health, and I was going through Netflix. It's the ultimate doom scroll. You're sitting there at dinner, the plate's in front of you, and you're trying to find something to watch, and you end up spending 15 minutes looking for something to watch, and you're done eating. But I saw it pop up, and there's a documentary, I think it's called Don't Die.
No.
And
rule number one.
Yes, rule number one, don't get dead. I saw that. I didn't even click on it, but that's a very catchy and interesting name. And I think it's about like how to have good health and live as long as you possibly can. Healthily. And I think about even what you just said for your kids and your family. It's, who cares about the fact that your genes fit now? It's, I am becoming a healthy person, or better yet, I am a healthy person. And you start to have those habits and behaviors, and it rubs off on your kids and your family.
Yeah.
It changes everything. Our kids, we don't do a lot of screen time. Like, the kids don't have phones. We do tablets, but we have tablets normally only for when we go on vacation. Like, they'll have it in the back of the car when they're going places. It's crept into where they like to play it at the house now. And so it's few and far in between that we even let them do that. But a lot of times it's, hey, what can we do around the house? Like, can we play games? Or just this past week, it's kind of tough. We took some time off for the holidays, and I about went stir crazy about 3 days in, and I'm like, I don't know how retirement's gonna look for me. Like, I don't think it's gonna be good, because I had to find something to do. I shined all my shoes, I cleaned all my guns, I cleaned out a closet. Like, I was starting to run out of stuff to do. But Charlie and Jack asked, can we go on an adventure?
Oh.
And I was like, okay, what does that look like? And they're like, we want to go to the creek and, go practice making fire and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's great. So we go down by the creek, and they built their own fire with flint and steel. And, we were talking about how to build that. And then we talked about how to track down there at the water, like finding the different animals that are down there. And then we, military terms, it's not a bad word, but we stalked some golfers from the bushes. And Charlie's like, what if they see us? I'm like, you'll be fine. Just don't move. And then Jack's like, what? I'm like, be quiet. But it's those types of things, like teaching them good life skills that they'll remember. And if that, that goal is, for me, I wrote down to be a person of a person of great value. And I wrote down like value to who, value to the marketplace, like work, value to my friends. I wrote down value to my family. And so for my kids, it's like, I don't want to be the center of the value for them. I want to create value for them and give them tools and skills that they can take the rest of their life. And even those memorable moments for them of, I remember building fire and tricking golfers down there on the deal down there, and that Jack talks too loud. But it's like, I remember these moments, and they can take that, forward. So I think when you look, what's the long-term goal? Like learning how to build fire and tie knots, that's like saying, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds and I want my jeans to fit. It's what can they take with them that's going to create value for them in the future? Having a healthy lifestyle for you and the family, I'm modeling this behavior, and it helps me and it also helps them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is also from Jim Rohn. I didn't put it on here who said this, but he said, make sure the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. If you are skimpy on your dreams or your objectives aren't very well planned, then they don't pull too hard. You'll have more of a tendency to be pulled apart by events or circumstances. Goals are like a magnet. They pull, which I thought that is kind of, I think what we're saying here is like when you have this idea or these things out in front of you, then there's a pull towards them. And so I think you tend to do more. You tend to desire that. That's another thing that I wrote down on my notes too, is this thought of an eager desire. He talks about the difference between wishes and desires. We have the remarkable ability to get exactly what we must have, but there's a difference between wishes and desires. We've all heard people say, oh, I wish I could just drop 5 pounds. I want to be a little lighter. We've probably said it to ourselves. Although we might wish we could breathe a little easier in our clothing, we have to have the desire to exercise a little more and eat a little less. The I wish I could lose weight has to become I have the eager desire to lose weight. The backbone of eager desire is discipline. Which we've done an episode on that as well. I know I should do not say discipline. Don't get Jocko going.
I was already watching this trash this morning, son. I know we talked about discipline in the past, and I know we talked about resolutions. It was our first episode, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Like I keep going back to why do people not stick with it? And I say people, including myself.
Sure, me too.
Like what's the first thought for you when you think of like why don't I stick to it? Why don't we as people stick to it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I know the answer to that too. Humans are wired to seek the path of least resistance, which means the convenient option is often the one that wins. That's from James Clear.
James Clear, yeah.
So much good stuff in his weekly, and I'll put that in the show notes too, so you guys can subscribe to that if you want to. He sends out a weekly thing, which is really cool, or maybe it's daily. But that was one of the things that I read in this week's is humans are wired to seek the path of least resistance, which means the convenient option is often the one that wins.
Yeah.
So it's not convenient. For like yesterday afternoon, I got home. As soon as I got home, I changed. I took Indy on a walk, our dog. And as soon as I got home from that, I turned on Sydney Cummings. She had a 20-minute New Year workout video, and I did it right there in the living room. What I really wanted to do was sit down and read my book, because that's one thing I'm trying to do too, is read a certain number of books this year.
Yeah.
But so that was not the path of least resistance. And so I think that's a lot of times what happens is the path of least resistance just becomes so easy, that it's hard. It's just harder to do the other thing until you get to the point where it feels less hard. Do you know what I'm saying? He goes on to say, make good choices more convenient and bad choices less so, and your behavior will improve naturally. Mm-hmm. That he talks about, because of course his thing is about habits. He says they're a byproduct of convenience. So when you make the good things easier to do, you're more likely to do them.
Yep.
And the bad things, when you make them harder to do, then you're less likely to do them. I just think it's hard in our everyday lives to continuously choose the path of most resistance. I think that's why it's so important to figure out how to make it easier.
Yeah.
Or you'll just keep choosing. It's so much easier for me to like go through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A than it is for me to plan out all my meals for the week and go shopping and get it all prepped and ready to go.
It's pleasant too. My pleasure. They make it so easy.
And it's so delicious.
It is.
It's so tasty. Delicious. It's more delicious than anything I can make for myself.
Yep.
So I get it. I mean, I totally see how that it's hard.
Man, it really is easy for us to slip back into our norm and what's comfortable for us. Like you think about, whether it's eating healthy, that's tough because you got to eat 3-4 times a day, and I want it to be tasty and enjoyable. Like if you went down to brass tacks of like, look, I've got to eat healthy, you're gonna get shot off to the moon. And it's like, you have to eat healthy. You cannot have anything unhealthy because when you get up there, bad things would happen. And it's like, okay, like this motivation enough. And somebody probably still be like, I wonder if they're just pulling my leg
Right.
and try it. But it's like, you'll have some people, it's like brass tacks. This is what it's got to be. Or you go to prison. You got zero choices. You can you'll lose weight when you're in prison. When you don't have choice, then it's just like, okay, I can do this. I don't have a choice. But when we have choice, that's when it becomes challenging because who else is going to hold us accountable?
Yep.
If it's just going to be us holding ourselves accountable, there's a high likelihood we'll just allow ourselves to do whatever. Like even Sydney, freaking love Sydney. Sydney is amazing. I've known Sydney for a long time, her husband Dustin. And I had the opportunity, the gift to watch her path because we coached at a boot camp in town. She was there for a little bit. She did like some classes there, and then she started her own fitness deal on the side. Her husband was a CPA at the time and didn't like the CPA deal. He went and started, he was filming for her, and then he started doing that full time. And I remember their old studio, I think it was off Clanton Road, somewhere right over there in that General Air off Tryon. And I just remember I walked in one day, like just to go say hey, and I see that this cool set. It's really cool seeing like a set that's built because the side room doesn't look anything like the set.
Yeah.
It's just like you only see what you see on the camera. And I'm like, Dustin, dude, how did you do all this? Like, who'd you have come in? He goes, I did it myself. Like, you built all this? He goes, oh, yeah. And he loves, like, photography and videography. He's very talented. But I just remember seeing it all. I'm like, wow, like, that's really cool that you guys have had this vision. And then seeing where it is today, like their new studios, I've heard it's beautiful. A friend of mine, Rob, did their AC and all this other stuff. But it's just amazing seeing where they've gone over the time. Mm-hmm. But I also know the backstory of how challenging it was over all the years. Things that happened in their family, things that happened at the studio that they were at previously, where they're at now, all the challenges. And if you're passionate about something, you feel that pull, the difficult path is the path. Mm-hmm. Like you almost feel like I have to lean into this. I have to do this. And I think when people can have that shift in their mind where they recognize that I need to feel resistance in this journey because in order for me to become the person that I want to be, I have to feel the pressure. I have to feel the challenge. And it'll be so much sweeter when you're like, I can't believe all that I've overcome to get here. And it was absolutely worth it. So I think of even the quote, what kind of person will you have to become to get all you want? You will not be proud of that person unless you deal with pressure and challenge. You will not become that person that you see. So I think the shift for people can be, going back to Jocko, good. Like as soon as you get pressure and resistance, like you should smile and be like, okay, I know I'm on the right path then. Because there's a quote I heard a long time ago, life wants to know how bad you want it. Like if you really want it, it's going to be hard. So it's almost like the little breadcrumbs of life are telling you, like, you should keep doing this when it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how you know you're on the right path. If it's easy, it should be a little sketchy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really cool to hear her story. This is not the same, but the same. I was just telling Shane about this because this is kind of fascinating to me.
You're telling shout out Shane?
Yep.
Shout out
Shane. I'm not a huge Shabuzi fan. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. I'm not going to sing on here, even though I just did.
You definitely did.
Okay, so most people, you have no idea what I'm talking about?
No, I think I got it after you sang the song.
Okay.
I'm tracking now. I didn't know where we were going.
Okay. Shabuzi and Sydney. I'm making a connection here. Okay. So he posted, I guess it was on Instagram. There was 2 pictures. One picture was him, I think, singing this song in just like a bar. I don't know if it was like an open mic. No, I don't know. I don't know all the details about his journey. Maybe some Shabuzi fans out there can help me out. But there was 2 pictures. One was him performing in this bar, open mic night, whatever. And the second picture was of him, Beyonce, and Post Malone, because he performed with both of them at a football game on Christmas Day, I believe. Both of those pictures were taken in the same year.
Wow.
That's crazy. Now, do I believe that maybe some of that was a stroke of luck here or a thing that, but I also think, how many places did he sing before that? How many songs did he write before that? Did somebody say, hey, get up there and sing that song tonight? And he did, and the right person heard it.
Yeah.
But I think about people that the same things that are available to Sydney and Shabuzi, they are available to all of us. We just are not either looking for them, thinking that they're available to us. Jen Sincero talks about that in her book as well. Is like everything that was available to those people is also available to you.
Yes.
It's it's not that Shabuzi just has better luck, or that Sydney didn't go through anything that was difficult in order to get to the place that she's at either. It's just that we're either not taking advantage of the opportunities, or we're thinking that our circumstances that will never be in the place to have those opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think it's just interesting. Like when you hear Sydney's story, is like she had an eager desire, right? An eager desire equals discipline. Every day they did something to move towards this goal or this vision that they had. And that's really what it's about. It wasn't about like, let's just shoot a video and hope for the best. There was things all along the way, these short-term things that they had to navigate through that got them to where they are now.
Yeah. I even think about some of the original videos that she shot. Like, can you imagine the uphill battle of someone starting from scratch on YouTube and just being like, I'm just going to keep doing this. And YouTube it's free. Like anybody can watch it, knowing that, hey, I may not see a return for years. Yep. But imagine 6 months in, I think she was doing, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was doing daily videos. So you got a workout video every day or 4 or 5 a week. And I know that for a time there, she was even shooting 2 videos a day so that she could have a day off.
Right.
Can you imagine working out every single day?
No.
And then going and looking, I'm sure there was a point where she got 110 views.
Yep.
And it's like, I need thousands.
Yeah.
I need 50,000. I'm not going to get paid till X amount. It's like, I'm sure that there were all the things that we all run into when we set goals for ourselves, no different than anything else. It's like, when am I going to see the results? I put in hard work. I've worked late at night. I'm exhausted. I can't do this anymore. All the same stories we tell ourselves, but the consistency of just sticking to it in the discipline that you talked about earlier, knowing that it will pay off. Like, I know that this is difficult and this is what I need to keep doing. I'm passionate about. I feel the pull. I can see it. I just got to put in the time. No different than Edison, like making the light bulb.
Yep. Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of tries.
I think, and he might say, you probably know this quote better than I do, but going along with the discipline piece, what I wrote down was, ambition is a minute by minute, day by day mentality, which I think kind of like discipline. It's the small choices. I don't remember what the quote is. It's like the small choices made every day.
Yep.
And so I think that's
simple disciplines practiced daily.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's like, it's a minute by minute, day by day mentality. So when you get this thing out in front of you that you really want, you're making decisions around that thing all the time.
Yep.
The decision you make is either going to get you closer or further away. And I do think it is, hear me clearly say, I think that's incredibly difficult to do every day, all the time, is to make those little decisions. Like we've talked about, like eating the donut gets me further away. It doesn't feel like that in the moment. It doesn't I don't know that I necessarily.
It's amazing in the moment.
It's so good in the moment. But does it get me closer to or further away from my goal of being healthy? And let me say this. I'm going to eat a donut. Okay. Let's just be clear about that. I'm not saying our listeners can't ever or shouldn't ever eat donuts anymore. I do think there has to be a balance. But at the end of the day, if I eat the donut, does it get me closer or does it get me further? The answer is further.
Yeah.
So I do think that that's just an illustration of how those little choices every day get us closer or get us further. And are we making those choices every day? Are we even conscious of what we're doing every day? Is it just like today turns into tomorrow, turns into the next day and the next day and the next day, and before you know it, a whole year has gone by.
Yep.
And we haven't made any choices that have gotten us closer to where we want to be.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest. I don't know if that's one of my fears. I don't think I really think about that often, but I do hope that people who listen to this, if they take nothing away, it's like, let's get something out in front of us. Let's don't let today become tomorrow, become the next day, become the next day. And then we're sitting here in 2026 having this exact same conversation.
Yeah. Maybe our 2026 first video will be, or our first pod will be that. But I also think that's, and sometimes I fall into this because I see it, shaboozy maybe. Maybe it was the right person was in there at the right moment, gave them the right recommendation, and then boom, it happened. And I think that sometimes people slip into, I'm waiting for the handout or I'm waiting for the special moment for me to shine. And we can't rely on that. Like, it may never happen for any of us, or maybe what you're hearing right now is the handout for you. And you recognize that, well, this is just telling me I need to make goals. You're welcome. Like, someone told me a long time ago, when it comes to goals, like, if you're not setting goals for yourself, you are literally going to just be out there floating and life will happen to you. And instead of thinking like life is happening to me, it's life is happening for me. It's the shift of thinking. And I think back to so many times in my life when things didn't seem like they were actually a gift, they actually were. In the moment, it doesn't seem like it, but little tiny moments, little tiny recommendations, little tiny moments with people can be the gift that you need to change. I mean, you could be the gift to yourself and be like, I am the one that makes these decisions. I am the one that's going to get me out of this mess. I'm going to be the one to change everything for myself because I know that I can't rely on X, Y, and Z to change for me. I'm going to change it myself. And there's usually, I don't know how many, maybe we should have Sydney on here. We're going to keep on talking about it, but it'd be curious to ask the people like Shabuzi or Sydney or anybody else that's wildly successful. What was the one moment in your life that changed everything for you? I'd be willing to bet there are some people that say, oh yeah, well, such and such and this and happened. But I would venture to say that a lot of people that are highly successful would say, well, there really wasn't one. There were like influential people in my life, but I had to make the decision. I had to put in the simple disciplines. I had to do this. And so for us, maybe this podcast for somebody today, as benign as it may seem, hearing this is like, today is the day I'm going to make the decision to change the rest of my life. And I'm going to do it with simple disciplines every day. It is not going to be sexy or easy, and the donuts are going to smell really good. But making the choice of, am I taking a step towards my goal or my destiny, the person I'm trying to become, or am I taking a step away with this one choice that I'm making?
Yeah. This came up in the book that I'm reading, and then I also was looking at it today, is about, I think her name is Mary Oliver, and the poem is called The Summer Song or something like that. But the last two lines in it are something along the lines of, tell me, what are you going to do with this one wild and adventurous life? I don't know if that's the right word or not, but I don't think that it is. But it kind of reminds me of that. It's like let's just not let all of the days kind of turn into years. And I think that's what my hope is. I think that's what our hope was for this podcast to begin with. What's meant for me won't miss me, right? So if this podcast or something that we say on here in any episode is meant for you, it won't miss you because you'll be ready to hear it, and you'll be ready to do what you need to do with it. And so I think that that's the thing is, if you're looking at 2025, I've never been a resolution girl. I have set resolutions before and failed at them, therefore not doing any resolutions anymore. I am the type of person who likes to have a goal or something I'm working towards, but I do think as I've gotten older, maybe as I've worked on myself, I think the biggest thing that I've been trying to do here recently is just thinking about, who is this person that I want to become? Mm-hmm. What kind of mother do I want to be? What kind of wife do I want to be? What kind of, I don't know what the right word to describe my role is here. The type of like facilitator or support person that I want to be here. What do I want to, I need to define those things, because without defining them, I don't know what to work on. Some of you may be listening and thinking, I don't know what to write down for my goals besides lose 10 pounds or, go to the gym more often or don't eat donuts. You may be thinking, I don't know what to do. Then my suggestion to you would be to write down, what is it that you want? And then start listing what are the things you need to do to become the person to get that.
What skills do you need to acquire?
Yep.
What knowledge do you need to get?
Yeah. It's, Brandon, he said in his episode, one of the things that's really important to me is making memories with my family. Travel is a big thing to me. I like for us to go places and experience things together. I am not motivated by money. But what Brandon has helped me see is that to travel, you got to have money. So that then tells me I need to learn more about how to put money aside or to make my money work for me so that we can use that money to travel together. If it's important to me, then I need to learn more about it so I know how to get it.
Yeah.
So those are the things when I made my list that started kind of presenting themselves to me. So now I know what to work on. So if you're unsure of what to work on, I think the first step is to figure out what are the things that you really want and what are the things you're going to need to work on in order to get that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote down for the thing of I want to be a person of great value. One of those things was with the family piece. There's some things that I want to specifically be of great value for my wife. But then same thing for the kids. I wrote "Say Yes." Like I always think about that movie with Jim Carrey, Yes Man, where he says yes to everything, and like his life takes a drastic turn. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, it's very, very good, very good. But it's just think about it. Like I can't remember if it was a dare or something happened to where he had no choice but to say yes, no matter what. Sir, do you have change? Yes. Like everything, no matter what people asked him, he always had to say yes. His life took a drastic turn. And I know with the kids, and I know we all find ourselves in this moment. You come home after a long day, you're exhausted, and the kids, Dad, do you want to play Monopoly at 7 p.m.? Yes, I'll play Monopoly. We played Monopoly over the Christmas break, and I remember fighting that one tooth and nail. I'm like, I don't want to play Monopoly. I know this is a 2-hour engagement, but we did it anyway, and I lost. Jack won. I was upset about that. I don't even know how he won it. I don't think he know how he won either, but I lost. But it's like, imagine what value you would create to your kids by saying yes more. Mel Robbins, love her. She says, actually, Sam sent me this quote. It was like a video. It says, 95% of the decisions we make is because of how we feel in the moment. We make decisions based off our feelings, and it's robbing us of our job and of opportunity. If you accept that most of the time you don't feel like doing things, but do them anyways, we'll begin to take back our power. I mean, it's so true. How many decisions do we make just based off of our feelings versus saying, is this going to take me towards my goal of being a better parent, adding value to my family, my kids, our relationship, or is this taking it away? Is this making it about myself and how I feel in the moment? And a lot of times the feelings of the moment don't equal or mirror the person that we want to become in the future. I mean, how many times have you just been tired and you didn't want to do it and you didn't do it, and then it's like the next day you're like, oh, I should have done that.
Yep.
Or procrastination. It's like, I know I need to do this right now, but it feels better to not do it, so I'm just going to not do it, and I'll just deal with the repercussions later. And then you hate yourself later because you're like, oh my gosh, I have no time left, and I wish I would have done it earlier. Like, it happens so often. And you could literally plug that into any scenario or situation of, here's the person I want to be, here's the person I am today, and the decision I'm making today is keeping me as the same person I am today, not taking me towards that future person.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'm sitting here thinking of the things I wrote on my list, which one of them, like I just said, is memory making and traveling. But then the other thing I wrote on there is being present. And so it's funny to me that I say that what I really want is memory making. And one thing I have to do in order to do that is to be present. But then at the same time, I do this exact thing that you're talking about right now. So when I get home, even though I'm saying I value the time with my family and I want to make memories with them, at the same time, I'm also making choices when I get home in the afternoon that don't support that value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when I get home, it's like, Mom, can you come watch this? Mom, can you come do this? Can we do this? Can we, that kind of thing. And I find myself like saying, let me just do this. I got to do this. Let me clean the dishes. Let me do, where as if I really valued that, or I was really putting that as a focus of what I want, then I would be rethinking how I respond in those situations.
Yeah. What are we saying with our actions?
Right. Because sitting here writing this list is a little bit different than living this list in the day-to-day. I guess that's where the eager desire and the discipline comes in to be able to do the things that I've written down on this list that I say are important to me, or what I really want.
What I think is cool, and it was one of our earlier episodes from last year. You were writing down, like, what do you want for your life? And I know you guys wanted to travel more. One thing I really liked that you did was even saying, like, girls, where do you guys want to go? Like, what would be memories for y'all? It may not be the first things that are on your list, but it is for them. And then same thing for this stuff. If like, hey, girls, I want to make more memories with you guys. What memories would be most meaningful? And they may not understand it as a memory, but it's like, what things do you want me to do when I come home from work that, means something to you?
Yeah.
Last night we were upstairs playing Legos, with Jack and Charlie. 'Cause like I was downstairs, I was eating, they had already ate, and, I had the dishes out, and I was like, I'm going to put these things away. I sat there for a little bit, and then I was like, they're all gone. I'm like, where is everybody at? And I go upstairs, and they're in there playing Legos all together. And they do it like you grab a handful of Legos, and you have to build something with what you grabbed. And so we're messing around with that for a little while. And then, we're talking about the day. They didn't do anything yesterday. Like, they just went and got in trouble. But it's just like those are the memories that they may not remember this as a defining moment. Like, I remember when we built things with a handful of Legos, but it's the feelings that they get.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember that my dad was there. I remember that we did fun things and that he was always there for me and all that. And same thing for you. It's what things would be most meaningful, to your daughters. And it's like, sometimes there's nothing wrong with even asking, like, what would you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, what would be meaningful for you? So you're not doing the wrong things too,
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess kind of going along with that, what you're saying makes me think of it, if our listeners are out there and they're taking some things away from this and they're writing down their lists of what they want, and they're creating these goals or these dreams, these things that they're going to be reaching towards, I do think that it's a good idea to share that with people. Number one, it's some built-in accountability.
Yeah.
If I say or I tell someone I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, then it's not that that person has to hold my feet to the fire necessarily, but when you say things like that and you put it out there to other people, it just puts some pressure really on you to follow through. So I think if you come up with these things, then I would share it with somebody, your significant other, your kids, somebody, so that you have somebody who's, number one, can hold you accountable, but can also be, a support person. Like Michael should know what I write down on this piece of paper, because he's an instrumental part in all of this. So I would say too, to people, once you start kind of thinking of these things, talk to other people about it. I think that it helps bring it to life a little bit more when you say, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm working on. I need your help. I need your support. I need your accountability. I think that can be helpful when you're just open and honest with the people in your life about what it is that you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't tell them, then it's like you're on a journey for yourself, and they're along the same journey. But you don't want to seclude or isolate yourself,
right?
Or even silo yourself from your family, even though you love them. But, Susie should know, Michael should know what's important to you, where you're going,
what it is that you're working towards.
And then they can support you in that versus just watching you. It's like, I don't get why you're doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's important to me.
Just listen to me.
I think, I know for me, I heard somebody say it one time, and I'm like, that's exactly what it is for me. I've always been sensitive to the finality or the finitude of life, like knowing that one day this is going to end. I even, when I had my boot camp, I made a shirt. It says, comfort is a slow death. And there's a old Latin phrase, memento mori. It's like basically being aware of the end, like knowing that one day that this ends. And as I was sitting there going through and writing down, person of great value, what does that mean? You have to look ahead to look back. You have to say, when I'm sitting there and my family's standing around me and it's the end, am I going to be able to look each person in the eye and say, I have given everything I possibly had to you? Said differently, I know Justin Mayo would love this. Did I die in a pile of brass? At the end, just I gave everything I had. I went out in a blaze of glory, whatever it is. But at the end, can I look each person in the eye and say, I gave you everything that I had? Can you say on that deathbed that I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish in my life? Did I do every single thing that I know that made me scared, that at the time I didn't want to, but I did anyway, and I'm absolutely proud of myself? They should write books about it. Can I say that at the end? And I think even if you just look and say that if I go on this life living it exactly the way that I am now, and I can't say that at the end, things have to change.
Yep.
Because no one's going to do it for you. Just like we said earlier, there ain't going to be no handout. Somebody's not going to step in hey, we're going to change things for you. And you're going to be able to sit back and watch this.
Right.
That's not how it works.
No.
You have to make the changes. But even if somebody came up and said, Meredith, I'm going to give you the life that you've always wanted. I'm going to wave a magic wand and you're going to have it. It's going to be amazing. It would be nice for a little bit. You'd be like, oh, this is amazing. I have everything I want. I have better relationships with my kids, and I've been able to travel to all these countries, and here's just the memories, but you don't get to experience it. You just remember it. It wouldn't be worth as much as, hey, I'm going to give you this path, and it's going to be really hard. You may not always have all the answers, but by the end, you're going to have accomplished everything that you wanted to. Is that okay? Which one would you want?
Yeah.
So I think the question really begs us all, at the end, what will I be able to say that I've accomplished that I am proud of? This is a life well lived. The quote, what kind of person will you have to become to get all you want? Same thing. How can you look back and say that this was a life well lived? If you can write down some things of if I can accomplish these things in my life, better relationships with my family, more financial freedom, whatever it is, a healthier lifestyle, teaching my kids X, Y, and Z, changing the world, whatever it is, if you can look back and say, I did this, okay, what skills, what knowledge, what things will I have to have in order for me to get there? And don't necessarily think not monetary, but physical things. It's not always stuff that I have to have. A lot of times it's knowledge and skills, which pay dividends in the end.
Yeah, I think it is hard to think about the end But I think you have to.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And so her quote, which I'll do better and put it in the show notes, but it's like, what are you going to do with this one life? Are you going to be sitting here in 2026 still worrying about, thinking about doing the same things that you're thinking about right now? If you want something different, you got to do something different. And like we were talking about, the problem with waiting until tomorrow to do anything is that when it finally arrives, it's called today. Today is yesterday's tomorrow. So the question is this: what did we do with this opportunity? All too often we will waste tomorrow just as we wasted yesterday and as we're wasting today. All that could have been accomplished can easily elude us despite our intentions until we inevitably discover that the things that might have been have slipped away from our embrace one single unused day at a time. I don't want all my days to be unused. And I do think it's hard to use every day. Like, I get it. Like, I mean, I get that life is life. But if you're not working towards something, you're working towards nothing. So
that hits different right there.
I mean, it's got to be something.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I could even say exactly what I'm working on, but I know that I'm working on myself for these things that I maybe want to see happen in the future, maybe.
I mean, the stuff that you said is absolutely things that are important to you, that if you can look back and say, hey, I've done these things, that is a fulfilling life.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I think that sometimes even people think like I have to do something extravagant and huge. You can do extravagant and huge things in your own life that are meaningful to you. It's like, I don't have to go out there and change the world, but if I can change my world for myself, then that's a life well lived.
Yeah. Because it's going to impact everybody around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever person you have to become, I think that's important. And I have run into, like, I've done goal setting with individuals. I've done it with groups. And sometimes I come across people that it's like, I don't know like what I want to become. Like they're just kind of lost in that space, which is 100% normal. But even asking like, who do you have in your life? Maybe they're in your life personally, or someone that you know about that is influential or has a life maybe that you want. Like really like dive in. It's not just that they have things, it's they have great qualities, they have great skills, they have this presence, whatever, like a role model of sorts. Okay, well, I do look up to that person. Why do you look up to them? What's important about what they have about them that is something that you would want to maybe have, and how will that change your life? I think when you go through those questions, you start to find, okay, this is, if I could live a life similar to this person, then it's a life well lived. And you start moving in that direction, maybe you uncover more things. It's like, okay, this is the path that I need to go down.
Yeah.
And then acquiring those skills. So sometimes if you know it in yourself of like, hey, this is a life well lived for me, great. If you're lost, maybe finding a role model or somebody that it's not the things they have, but it's deeper than that. What type of values do they maybe have that I need to have for myself? And then you start locking in those behaviors. What behaviors do I need to have? What do I need to change? And knowing it ain't going to be easy.
Yep. Yeah. So I think what we're saying is, people, do something.
Wake up.
Do something. Whatever it is, let's just do something. Make a list. Write something down. Do something. I don't know what needs to be on your list. I think if you just sat down and started writing some of these things down, what is everything that I want? What do I want more of in my life? What do I want less of in my life? Like, let's just do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
2025. Do something.
Do something.
Do something. I think that there's just so many things out there. I think there's so many opportunities and things out there for people. I just want, and I know I can't want it for anybody else more than they want it for themselves. Yeah. Even though I'm going to keep trying to do that. There's just so many things out there, and I just want people to recognize they can have more than they ever thought possible if they just do something.
Yeah.
Just
do something.
Just do it.
Just do something.
Just do it.
Hey,
Maybe
maybe we get that could be our new quote. Just do something.
yeah.
We could change it. It's not easy, does it? It's just do something with yourself.
Do something. I don't care what it. Listen to a podcast, read a book, write something down. Let's start 2025 off by doing something. Which, by the way, when you do one thing, typically leads to doing something else.
Yes.
It's a snowball effect.
Yes.
So you do one, something else happens, and then you start gaining momentum. So even another reason to just do something.
Do something.
Do it, people.
I think I know the name of our podcast today.
It was Kind of Person You're Becoming, but that might need to change for sure. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify or Apple so you never miss an episode. We will be back with you in 2 weeks with another episode. We appreciate you guys listening. We do wish you a wonderful and productive 2025. We can't wait to see what happens with all of our listeners and with MJ as a whole. We appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace, love, and easy does it.
Hey, appreciate y'all.